pro-women's rights, would have been on the side of Gaza, anti-capital punishment. I mean, this is a religious figure, anti-capital punishment, like actually put himself in the way of capital punishment trying to be happening. And I've just got to tell you about this person. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. If there were guns in his time, he would have been pro-gun reform because he was completely anti-violence. He actually really included all of the people who society rejected, and the people that he called out and shamed were the religious bigots. Actually, he stood up to all kinds of religious bigotry, especially that had like gotten embedded within power structure. Like, you know, the kind that use religion to justify their politics and bolster their political power. Those people. He actually exposed that corruption and was constantly pushing back on those people. Meanwhile, the people that they were victimizing, that they were taking power away from, this religious leader was giving power back to them and standing up in public to these religious leaders, which at great personal risk because those religious leaders had all of the power. Oh yeah, and he went to the sacred spaces of other religions. And when he was there, he didn't judge them for it. In fact, he treated it as honoring. He honored those other faiths by his presence and by the revelation that he gave in those spaces. And yes, he would have been pro-immigration reform because he was very pro-immigrant. And some of you already figured it out that the religious leader's name is Jesus. And I know that is not the version of Jesus that is often put out there. Jesus is, in the stories of Jesus that we have, he is loving and accepting and gracious to everybody. The only body that he actually critiques and pushes back hard on are the religious people, the bigots. Those are the people. Look, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you've ever actually experienced real love and acceptance, like unconditional love and acceptance for who you are and where you are, that's Jesus. Like, that's the thing. And all the other hateful, excluding versions of Jesus or stories about Jesus or people claiming to speak for Jesus that you've encountered, those were just a lie. Or maybe worse, like an appropriation of a holy person who loved and accepted everyone, appropriation of that person and that person's story in service of a political agenda that wanted to exclude and hate and consolidate power by minimizing the voices of those who were oppressed and those who had less power. In the comments on TikToks and on my live streams, I'm actually often asked whether I want people to know Jesus. And it's a hard question for me to answer because I think we're talking about a different person. Like the Jesus that the fundamentalists and the like politically conservative fundamentalist Christians talk about, like, yeah, I don't want people to know that person because that's not the real Jesus. I want them to know the real one, not the like lie that has been concocted to ensure their power and firm up their power. Like, I want people to meet the Jesus that would stand up to all of those people in public and shame them for the way that they have contorted the teachings of God and the love of God in service of their power. Like, I want people to understand and encounter that Jesus. The problem is they've kind of ruined it for everyone else. And that really bums me out because the real Jesus, man, that's the one that would change the world in like a good way by loving all these people. And I don't know, that's the story I feel like that needs to be recovered somehow.